Okay, this is video 4 of part 3 of The Knight's Tale. We're going to finish part 3. This is a much shorter video. Sorry guys, than the first 3, okay? We're going to pick up on the bottom of page 153. We've heard the prayer of Palamon to the goddess Venus. We've heard the prayer of Emily to the goddess Diana. So that's all that leaves us is Arcite's prayer to the god Mars. So line 1509, bottom of page 153. At the hour of Mars next following this, Arcite proceeded to the temple of fierce Mars to make his sacrifice with all the rites of his pagan custom. With piteous heart and exalted devotion, he thus said his prayer to Mars. O strong God, who are honored and held a lord in the cold realm of Thrace, and who have, in every realm and land, the whole bridle of war in your hand, and whose desires control destiny, accept from me my piteous sacrifice. If it be that my youth deserves it, and that my strength is worthy to serve your Godhead, so that I may be one of your own, then I pray you to take pity upon my pain for the sake of the same pain and same ardent fire in which you once burned for desire, when you enjoyed the beauty of the fair, young, fresh, and gracious Venus, and had her at your will in your arms. Even though misfortune befell you when Vulcan had caught you in his net and found you, alas, laying by his wife. For the sake of the pain which was in your heart, take pity upon my exceeding pain as well. I am young and inexperienced, as you know, and, as I think, more injured by love than was ever any other living creature. For she that makes me endure all this woe never cares whether I sink or swim. Well I know that before she offers me mercy, I must win her by force on the spot. And well I know that without help or favor from you, my strength may not avail. Then, Lord, help me tomorrow in my battle, for the sake of that fire that once burned you as much as the fire now burns me, and arrange it that I shall have victory tomorrow. Mine be the pains and yours the glory. I will honor your sovereign temple above any other place, and always labor most for your pleasure and in your mighty skills. And in your temple I will hang my banner and all the arms of my company. And from now until the day I die, I will provide eternal fire before you. I will bind myself to this vow also. I will give to you my beard and my hair that hangs far down my back, and that never yet has felt the injury of razor or shears. And I will be your faithful servant while I live. Now, Lord, take pity upon my bitter sorrows. Give me victory. I ask no more of you. So, Arcite prays to Mars, and he prays for victory. He admits, I am young, I am inexperienced, but I believe that you know my pain. You know what I'm going through. And he believes that the only way to win Emily is to win the fight. So therefore, he prays for success in battle. The prayer of Arcite, the strong, having ended, the rings that hung on the temple door and the doors too set up a loud clattering, at which Arcite was somewhat afraid. The fire so burned upon the splendid altar that they lighted up all the temple. Then the floor gave off a sweet smell. And Arcite lifted up his hand and cast more incense into the fire, performing other rites. At last the statue of Mars began to make its coat of mail jingle. With that sound he heard a murmuring, very low and indistinct, which said, Victory. For this he gave honor and glory to Mars. And thus, with joy and hope of faring well, Arcite then went to his lodging, as happy as a bird is for the bright sun. So, the result of his prayer, there's rings kind of hanging on the doors of the temple, and the doors themselves, all the rings in the doors start to kind of clatter and make noise, and he becomes afraid. The fires that he then began with his sacrifice grow, so they burn brighter and they burn bigger. And then there's a sweet smell that comes from the ground. And then the statue of Mars, the physical statue of Mars, begins to jingle, and then the word victory is whispered. I don't know about you, but I would find all of that very creepy. He, though, is very happy. He leaves that place confident as he's told that he will be victorious tomorrow. What does this prayer say about him? Arcite admits to being innocent and being naive, and thinking that the only way to actually win Emily is to win battle. He's young, he's inexperienced, and he enjoys the idea of being victorious in battle. He's a knight. He wants to have victory. He wants to have Emily, and he thinks the only way he can have Emily is to have victory. Although it's believed that he loves Emily, we have to think about if he loves being a knight and he loves victory and success more. So let's finish up our reading. We're going to go to the bottom of page 157. Immediately on account of this grant, such strife began in heaven above between Venus, the goddess of love, and Mars, the stern god powerful in arms, that Jupiter strove to stop it, until pale Saturn the cold, who had known so many ancient turns of fortune, thought of a solution from his aged experience, so that he had very soon pleased all sides. Here's the problem. Venus, Diana, and Mars all grant all three of their wishes, or all three of their prayers. When a god tells you that I will fulfill your wish, or I will fulfill your prayer, they have to do it. So then all the gods begin to fight, basically saying, how are we going to make everybody happy? Saturn, who is the oldest and wisest god, comes up with a solution. And we will find out what the solution is in part 4. It is truly said, age has a great advantage. In age there is both wisdom and practice. One man may outrun the old, but not surpass them in counsel. Saturn then, to stop strife and fear, although such action is against his nature, began to find a remedy for all this strife. My dear daughter Venus, said Saturn, my planetary course, which has to make so wide an orbit, has more astrological power than any man knows. Mine is the drowning in the pale sea. Mine is the prison in the dark hut. Mine is the strangling and hanging by the throat. Mine is the uproar and the revolt of the underlings, the discontent and the poisoning. I take vengeance and do full chastisement while I dwell in the zodiacal sign of the lion. Mine is the collapse of the lofty halls, the falling of the towers and of the walls, upon the miner and the carpenter. I slew Samson, shaking the pillar, and mine are the chilling sicknesses, the hidden treasons, and the hoariest plots. My look is the father of pestilence. Now weep no more. I shall see to it carefully that Palamon, who is your own knight, shall have his lady as you have promised him. Although Mars shall help his knight, nevertheless there must some time be peace between you, even if the two of you are not of one humor, which fact causes such argument continually. I am your grandfather, ready at your will. Now weep no more. I will fulfill your desire. So what Saturn is saying is that I am the oldest and wisest. I have seen greater things in this battle over Emily. And he starts to list all of the horrible things that he has kind of been responsible for. And although they're bad things, he knows that he's doing the best for each individual involved. And he says, I will grant everybody's wish. Everybody will end up getting what they want. Now I will stop talking about the gods above, about Mars and about Venus, goddess of love, and tell you as plainly as I can the great climax for the sake of which I began. So there we end part 3. We end part 3 with the knight saying, I'm going to finish up my story now. He digresses a little bit, gives us more information that we really don't need, and says, now I'm going to stop blabbering and actually tell you the result. So make sure you have both sides of your chart completed and that you have annotated your reading, you have highlighted or taken notes on your reading as well.